Welcome, one and all, to a La Liga preview of Real Madrid against Villarreal, which is match day 8 of this current La Liga season. And we're back with another episode of the Let's Be Real podcast. Um, Most unfortunately, we couldn't bring you a podcast at the end of the Kairat game. And I mean, if you ask me, there's not much to talk about that game, especially after coming off a 5-2 hammering against Atletico Madrid. Uh, then again, I mean, it was a responsibility, and we apologize to our listeners and our viewers out there. Nevertheless, we'll get into things. Um, yeah, we'll get into things with Villarreal, and I have Kanishk by my side here for the preview today. I just want. I'm guys. Also, I'm new to this whole hosting thing, so uh, Suned's absence couldn't be more like, where's Suned when you need him, right? But anyways, I'm gonna do up my housekeeping. So, firstly, big up Talksport, which is the biggest sports radio station in the world, and obviously, Let's Be Real are top sport partners. So everything on Let's Be Real is powered by the Talksport Fan Network. And if you want to support them, you can click the links in the description. And secondly, we would like to shout out Fanatics. Fanatics have been a long time partner for Let's Be Real. They are also partners, official partners of La Liga and Real Madrid as well. So if you want to check them out, links in the description. I mean, affiliated links, so that will help us in any way you can. Um, with that out of the way, I mean, we should get straight to things. I think uh, Villarreal is always a tricky contest, Karish. I'm sure you'll agree. We won twice, home and away last year, but regardless, they're a very tricky opponent, a very worthy opponent, especially with doubts over our big game finesse and what happened in that second leg against Atletico Madrid. But before that, I just want to touch up a little bit on the game that we actually missed, with regards to our post match, which is Kairat. Kanish, do you want to touch up on Kairat?
Well, I think I was 7 or 8 years old when I read my life's first football book. It was on
Yeah,
all the World Cups that had been done till then, till the 2006 World Cup. And I just, for some reason, remember a very funny quote written that some journalist had written once about some match in the World Cup, that up to 4-0 is football, and
yeah,
after 4-0 is just mere statistics. So if anyone knows which journalist wrote that, you can say that. I think that sums up Real versus Kairat very well. That it was just, with all due respect to Kairat Almaty, you could see the difference in quality. But
yeah,
having said that, traveling 11 hours on a flight in much colder conditions right now. I think I was checking the temperature, the weather, it was around 10 or 11 degrees, which is pretty cold. And against a hostile
yeah.
stadium, the Central Asians know how to celebrate their sport and their culture. So I think it was not an easy visit in terms of logistics, in terms of hostility, in terms of the atmosphere. But I think, a great Real Madrid are great ambassadors of these kind of games. And I think Champions League wise, we cannot complain. 2 matches, 2 wins, Mbappe getting a hat trick. Most of the team pretty much clicking with each other. I think there also the first half we were a bit shaky, but I did
Yeah.
expect that going into Almaty in Kazakhstan, you will expect the players to be a bit shaky. It's uncharted territory, but I think second half we just absolutely bulldozed them. If I can use that word with all due respect, and fantastic performance. I think it was much needed after the battering that we received last weekend in the other side of Madrid. I think
Yeah.
we will definitely touch upon that as well. But I think this does nothing. We did expect 3 points for Real Madrid, but if this does anything, it definitely boosts the confidence of the players. They really need it. And
Absolutely.
once you concede 5 goals and then you score five in
Yeah.
the very next match, and it's the Champions League. Every point is important. Every point is
Regardless
crucial.
of
We saw
opponent,
last
yeah.
season. We last season what happened if Paris Saint-Germain would have dropped a match here and there, they would have not even been in the next rounds, and they were
The
the
matchup
eventual
would have
champions.
been,
So
yeah,
we
completely different, yeah.
so we understand the value of each and every match, each and every point. And Kairat Almaty were no pushover. They did have their moments in the match. They
They
did
held
make
their own for the
Courtois,
first 20, 25 minutes,
yeah,
if you'll remember.
absolutely. They did make Thibaut Courtois dive a couple
Work,
of times,
yes.
make a couple of saves here and there. So, with all due respect to them, but I think this confidence was needed, and I think as soon as we can forget about that Atletico match, it's going to be good for us because Villarreal are no pushovers either. They're number three on the La Liga
Yeah.
table, and they're a proper test. And I think the team needs a lot of confidence. They need to get their heads straight. They need to forget about what has happened
No,
last
absolutely.
weekend.
But exactly, Kanishk, how do you recover from a loss like Atleti? Because given Karat was a final scoreline, given that we traveled, you said 11 hours, played in extreme conditions, um, at the end of the day, it was a dead rubber game. It was always going to be a Real Madrid victory, regardless, at the end of
Hmm,
the 90 minutes, right?
hmm, hmm.
The Mbappe hat trick, Rodrigo coming on and putting on a sublime performance, that was a good
Mm.
touch. And that was no less than what we would have expected as fans. But again, that wasn't quite uh, the game, that wasn't quite the fixture, I should say, that would bring back the feeling that we started the season off with, right? 6 wins
Uh,
in the first 6 games, and then that Atleti defeat happens. So, how do you recover from that? Do you think today's game is maybe an opportunity to put out a statement where, Real Madrid's big game issues aren't entirely addressed so far, right? That second half against Atleti
uh,
was an indication of the fact that we just haven't, regardless of our form against other teams, against big teams, because Atleti and PSG are the only examples we've had so far. We've faltered in those games. So do you consider Villarreal a worthy opponent of a reply?
Definitely. I think we are going to do a disservice to us
Yeah,
if we are going to constantly have that Atletico defeat in our minds. It's only going to cause us more harm than anything else. I still believe Atletico are a work in progress this season. I
yeah,
still believe so. If you take out the Julian Alvarez free kick and the goal which we conceded from the corner and the penalty, so those are three set piece goals, right? Our set piece defending. Look, I don't know. It's what kind of a juju that teams have been scoring free kicks against us lately. But if you take that out, uh, and if you have to dissect the game bit by bit, I think we did a fantastic job to come back in the first half once we conceded the first goal.
yeah,
We were leading. We were leading for a short while, and then we conceded right before the halftime, if I'm not wrong. So Atletico did have their moments in the game. If that Alvarez free kick is not going in, if they are not getting that penalty, and if they are not, if we are not conceding from that corner, uh, it's Real Madrid's game to win. So I don't feel that. Yes, we have been outplayed. Defensively, we were shambolic. You have no excuse for that. I will not even dignify that with
yes,
any sort of an argument. Defensively, we were shambolic. Attackingly, we could show that, even in the first half, we have that ability to come back. And if I'm the coach, which I know I'm very, absolutely not qualified to even make this statement, but still I'm going to say it, that if I'm the coach of Real Madrid, I'm thinking, okay, these are three goals which we conceded from set pieces. On any other day, this could have gone against Atleti as well. They could have missed a free kick. They could have not been given the penalty, and they could have not scored from the set piece. So, having said that, Atletico did have their moments, but as they say in football, you have to capitalize when you get your chances.
yeah.
I don't think if it's been a while, I don't remember, and I did switch off my TV after a while last Sunday, but I don't feel Real Madrid also got a lot of chances in the second half. They didn't create much. I think we were just entirely bamboozled by their attacking. And I think the fifth goal was just, I mean, it was just a very silly error. Very silly of, if I'm not wrong, that was Valverde. I
Fede
don't
Valverde,
want to,
yes, and
I
there's
don't
been
want
a lot of
to,
reports about Fede Valverde and his
I don't want
form.
to highlight on him. I love him. He's one of my favorite football players,
Yeah,
even
but
if
we
he
will
was
have to
not playing
mention him,
for Real
Kanishk,
Madrid.
eventually.
Yes, it was a stupid error. It was something that happens once or twice a season. I'm not
Yeah,
looking at it more than anything more than this. I'm not going to highlight on it. It can happen to any player on any given day. Very unfortunately, it happened in the first big proper big ticket match of the season. I'm gonna leave this behind. It was three set piece goals, which was the difference between us and them. If the scoreline would have been any different, I definitely believe we still have that star power and the quality to come back and win a match from
Yes.
behind, which we showed in the first half. We did score 2 goals after going down a goal.
Yeah.
So a lot of talking points here and there. But yeah, just to answer your question, I'm not going to think about it a lot.
Okay.
There
And do
are
you think
multiple
you
big
think the
games coming
players
up.
shouldn't either, right?
The players shouldn't either. See, it's a league campaign. Even the league campaign which we won in 2022, if I'm not wrong, the season we won the
The double,
yeah,
yeah.
2022, 2021, 2022, the double. We did lose both the matches to Barcelona.
Yeah.
Or even, I think the second match, no, we won the first match away at Barcelona. The second match, we lost 3-0 or something like that at the Bernabeu, where we were wearing the black kit. I
4-0.
remember very clearly. 4-0. Yeah, we lost 4-0 at the Bernabeu. So if the players would have taken that to heart, it would have affected the rest of the season. Because we had, I think,
The league was in the bag by then, I
quarters or
think.
semi. League was in the bag, but these kind of defeats do play in your mind.
Yes, of course.
And
Yeah,
it could have
you're not
affected
wrong.
the results.
You're not
It could
wrong.
have affected the results in the Champions League. So that's what I'm saying. I think
Then again,
Xavi
Kanishk,
needs to
our next opponent, Villarreal, they have a knack of doing this. They're a completely different proposition when it comes to
yeah,
type of
yeah,
opponent than Atleti, than Barca.
yeah,
But they have held their own against Real Madrid in the past. Of course, not last season, and they have had quite a decent season. If one would bring up their domestic records, they are third in the league, right?
yeah,
Much like us,
yeah,
their only loss has also come against Atleti,
yeah,
and I know the Champions League form isn't looking great because 2 points. I mean,
yeah.
1.2 games they drew against
They
Juventus.
drew against Juventus, so that's
Yeah,
a good result.
but what do you think about Marcelino's side going into this fixture
No,
domestically?
look, they will be definitely coming out. They will be definitely trying to capitalize on Real Madrid's loss last week.
Yeah,
So, and but see, if it was at the La Ceramica, I would have had a different argument because they go all out when it comes to home matches. They are
of course, yes.
absolute, wild, untamed lions when they go out. They play with a lot of zeal and a lot of passion, and they're playing in their home ground. But yeah, this is the Bernabeu, so they will not be having such a big impact on the field from the word get go. And I
Hmm.
think Real Madrid just need to play to their strength. Just do the basics right, play to your strength. I think Camavinga had a fantastic game against Kairat, so I do feel it's probably time for him to come back in the starting 11, and that could probably send Chouameni back in defense, which could solidify it, because defense has been our worry for the past, I think, 2-3 seasons now. I think we are sounding like broken records when we are saying this. Defensively, we are not the best. Carreras, although I love him and I still feel he's the signing of our season, he had a horror show against Atletico Madrid.
Yeah,
So do you judge him based on the 6 games that he has done well against smaller opposition, or do you just judge him based on the one game that he's played against a tough opposition? So I would still
yeah.
say a lot to
Because
prove for
then
a lot of
again,
these
Fran
players.
goes and has a good game against Kairat. So
Fran goes and has a good, decent game against
yeah,
Kairat. So a lot of ifs and buts there, and something Javier Alonso has done all season so far. We do not know. There's no point predicting a starting 11. He's played a different starting 11 in all matches. So I think that element of surprise is there. Franco Mastrantano was good against Atletico. I
yeah,
mean, I think a lot of people will agree with me when I say this. He was one of the players who was actually trying. And he has been one of the players apart from Kylian Mbappe. Look, Kylian Mbappe right now, we should not even talk about him. He's in the
he's in a different galaxy
kind
when
of
it comes to goal
really
scoring
different
and his
galaxy right now.
finishing.
I said this in 2 previews in the second last preview that he has a point to
Yes,
prove this season. He is eyeing the Ballon d'Or. I can say this on record. He
yeah,
is going to have a Ballon d'Or season, or definitely a top 3 Ballon d'Or season. But barring Mbappe, I think Vinny has again, had a slow start to the season. He's playing well. He's making his runs. He's doing what he does well. Just that end product is missing. The goals and the assists, they are not what I thought they should have been
yeah,
so far in the season. Well, still, it's honestly, it's still pretty early days. It's just our 10th match of the season,
yeah,
eighth in the league, and we've played 2 in the Champions League. So this is only our 10th match in the season. But if form is anything to go by, I do feel Rodrigo should start over Vinny right now. He has
fair
really
enough, fair
made an
enough.
impact from the left.
But don't you think, Ganesh, that I mean, you obviously mentioned our defensive woes and how
Yeah.
terrible our injury record has been. I don't think attack, even with an underperforming Benny and with Rodrigo not getting consistent minutes, Mastantuono has surprised us with how uh, you know with how suddenly he's taken on the role and he's looked to fit into the system. And how obviously how much Shabby trusts him. I don't think that's where our issues lie. Like I'm sure we'll go out and score 2 or 3 goals against Villarreal tomorrow or Saturday. Um, the defense is where our issues lie. What is it with because Hassan is not going anywhere. It's not a position we're looking to replace. So
Yeah.
ultimately we're going to have to look at it and say there's something that's got to give. There's something that's got to improve. Because you can't replace a player like that you've just signed for a shit ton of money.
Yeah. No.
Right?
Look,
And Raul Asensio is
that
going to
one,
play at right back regardless because Carvajal is out and Alexander Arnold is out. So
and if Javi is not planning to play Valverde there against Villarreal, I don't think he should.
yeah,
Villarreal has got supremely
Valverde's
fast
form
wingers. Yeah.
Valverde's form has anyway been a concern for us. What are the things that Militao, Housen, and Asensio lack at the moment?
Look, when you see on paper,
Yeah.
Real Madrid has a very good defense. If you see it on paper,
Yeah.
right? I think everyone will agree with me when I say this. We have a fantastic defense on paper. However, and I was thinking about it. Look, it's a defense which has been made just this season. Okay, these players have not played with each other in the past. Militao has come back from a very serious injury.
Yeah.
Huijsen is
And
a
now
new
it's Alaba
signing.
suddenly.
It's Alaba suddenly, yeah. Huijsen has just signed for the club. Carreras has just signed for the club. Carvajal has come back after an injury. Trent has just signed for the club. Fran and I think Rudiger are the two players. Just correct me on Rudiger. Is he fit?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay. So Fran is, I think, the only one who's fit and who's been a part of this defense last season. I think Militao played the last 2 or 3 games once he recovered from his ACL. So this defense is a very new defense. And you see these with defenses of good teams in the past, the AC Milans and the Barcelonas and the Man Uniteds and the Chelseas, even when they've not had the best players or like the most skilled players, attacking, is something I feel is more individualistic. Defense is something I feel is like 80% understanding and teamwork.
Yeah, sense of familiarity.
Sense of familiarity. These players have not played enough with each other yet. I feel to develop that partnership which Ramos and Pepe had, or
and they're
Ramos
all young.
and
Like to
Varane
add to
had.
that,
And they're all young,
a lack of
supremely young.
leadership in that defense.
And even Militao, he's been playing for donkey's years now, but he's still pretty young. I think he's 26, 27, not more than that. That's still pretty young. Defensive players are generally in their prime when they are entering their 30s, or like you can see with Carvajal right now. You could say 2 seasons back he was in his prime. He was a Ballon d'Or contender. So I think that is one thing which Real Madrid, and there is no fix for this. The more games they play, the better they're gonna get.
So the lesser moving parts that also matters, right? With injuries and disruptions like suspension, like Carvajal getting sent off, that doesn't help, obviously. And
that does not help. And
experiments randomly in between,
Tchouaméni
playing centre back needlessly. So that doesn't help.
Yeah.
Right.
Carvajal is the leader of this team. He is the most experienced player in that squad. He's the leader in defense, and he's the leader of Real Madrid. So when your leader goes out and has a brain fade and gets a red card, I'm not blaming him for that. But so that kind of leaves that gap. But if you look at it from the flip side, this is an opportunity for someone to step up and become a leader in defense. I mean, when Ramos joined Real Madrid back in 2004, 5, yeah, like long back. We had Fabio Cannavaro, we had the likes of Thomas Gravesen, we had the likes of Fernando Hierro also, I think maybe was in the fag end of his career. We had Iker Casillas in goal. So we had leaders in the team. We had, if I'm not wrong, maybe very, very wrong, we also had Clarence Seedorf then. Correct me if I'm wrong, or maybe
it's before my time.
before Ramos joined.
I wish Sunaid was here.
My time as well. Yeah. Hey, Suned's not that old. But what I'm
No,
trying to
he
say
is.
is, my
He
point is that,
used to.
even when,
He has the knowledge
yeah, even
from
when,
eras of the past.
Varane came in, there was Ramos, there was Pepe, there was Alvaro Arbeloa. And, we had that leadership in defense, players to learn from. Unfortunately, Madrid's defense is a very young unit. So the more they play, the better they're going to
Mm,
get together. And we are definitely going to see that. Maybe, give it another
yeah.
4 or 5 games, and we're definitely going to see, once the suspensions and everything is over after the international break, once players are also much fitter and back, hopefully we
Mm,
can curtail the injuries, and hopefully we can, I really wish, Alaba was in form right now and he was starting, because he is a proper leader in defense. He has shown that in the past. I really wish Rudiger was back, like in form right now, was he was back fit, because he's a leader in defense.
yes,
You always
absolutely.
need that one focal point in defense, which
Yeah.
you can rely on. Even when, AC Milan, all the Nestas and everyone retired, the Cafus retired, Maldini was still there, and he was guiding the next generation of the Milanese defense. Which won another Champions League in 2007 with that bunch of players. So you
Yeah.
always need that one elder, for the lack of a better word, like an elder focal point in
Personality,
defense, which
yes, of course.
Madrid do not have right now, unfortunately.
So that's a very good
Uh,
point you make. But when it comes to
yeah,
the other side of things with Villarreal, like looking at their expected lineups now, there's only a
mm,
bunch of, you know, and I can count them on my fingers, names that click
yeah,
or ring a bell. Like Danny Parejo has been here for a while.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
Gay has been here for a while. Nicolas Pepe has
yeah.
been at Villarreal for a couple of seasons. But apart from that, not many familiar faces.
Yeah, they have had quite a transfer season,
Yeah,
transfer window this summer. I think they've gone ahead and got around the players like Gabi Vega and things like that. Nicolas Pepe finally, for like after years, is in it's like a good patch of form in the
yeah,
beginning of the season. I think he's been their best player by far. There's is this Idrissa Gana guy? No, this is Pape. Okay, there's this new player, Tyon Buchanan from Canada. A
right.
26-year
Yeah.
old midfielder. He's been good for them. So uh, it's a new look Villarreal. It's a very good coach. But they still
I mean,
have.
Barcelona's proven La Liga manager, so can't really go wrong
Yeah,
with him. Man.
absolutely. So, and Villarreal always has had that knack of having very experienced managers coaching very young squads. And
Okay.
once these players develop, they go to much bigger clubs in Europe. I remember the season we won the Champions League. They were in the semi-finals of the Champions League,
Hmm.
facing Liverpool. So, not very long ago, 3 years back. So it's a club that is associated with domestic and continental success. It is a club that likes to win. It is a club that is hungry to perform, and it, in a way, is a giant club, because we've lost to Villarreal in the past.
Oh yes, a couple
Barcelona
years
has
back
lost to
they were
Villarreal
one
in the
of
past.
they were one of our thorns. The thorns in our side. Like one of the teams that caused serious problems
Uh,
in defensive
Serious
transition
problems,
to
yeah,
Real
yeah,
Madrid. So I
absolutely.
don't
And
think they should be taken lightly, especially with where they are in the league right now, third just behind us.
they
Um,
play with a very solid midfield. They play with a 4-5-1,
yeah,
which kind of
always. That's always been the
transitions
case.
into a 4-3-3 once they're attacking.
Yeah.
So, and
And even off the
I
bench,
saw
right?
the
They have
yeah,
a few different, few good players off the bench. Thomas Partey, I see. Cardona has
yeah.
been around for a while.
There's
Akama, yeah. Molero as
there's
well. Yeah,
Molero, left winger, is very fast. So, and I saw that game against Juventus. Juventus had I don't know how many people remember the 4-4 first match against Dortmund. Juventus is one of the teams to watch out for this season. They've got a fantastic squad, and it's just suddenly things are looking very good at Juventus. They curtailed them to a 2-2 draw. So it
mhm,
could have very easily been Juventus's game. They are it's a good defensive unit. I think they are also a new defense,
yeah.
as in, you know, they have Rafa Marin, by the way, who used to be our player.
Oh
Is
yes,
from the Castilla, Rafa Marin. So, he'll know a thing or two about Madrid, maybe. And they have Renato Vega, who's the Portuguese centre back. So they have experience. They have young defenders like Hoisin. They defend like a pack, you know, uh, very last ditch defending also sometimes. So it's very difficult to break teams like that. Villarreal is not a team which plays the low block. I at least don't recall them playing the low block against any team. They'll give you a run for your money. They'll charge at you. And I think these are the games where Madrid is also more comfortable, when teams are also a bit more open to playing attacking football. Is I think
Yes.
also because we saw that with Kairat. They were not there to defend and
They were
get
not
the
afraid,
lead.
yes.
Absolutely not. They were taking their chances. They were creating chances. They were making runs on the wing. So Villarreal is also one of those teams which can do that. So, and I think that kind of works for Madrid because we play better somehow against teams
Yeah.
which are also more open to attacking. Because you see Atletico, it's a very boring style of play. I do not buy to that. I'm not a big fan of that. Just lying back
Then again,
and
it
just
works against us. So why wouldn't you?
it
Right?
will work against most teams which are attacking. I think the system is made in such a way that it will
Yeah.
work against most teams which like to attack.
Yeah.
Because then it kind of gets very repetitive with Atletico Madrid, but it will not work against teams who do
No,
not play the
other teams who give Atleti the ball usually,
yeah,
get the better of them. So
absolutely,
because they
absolutely.
don't know what to do with the ball, Atleti. That's the thing.
And that is why recently you've seen Atletico Madrid do very well against Liverpool, because Liverpool is a team which just loves to counter. They
Mm.
love to finish an attack within 10 or 15 seconds, and
Yeah.
they'll take a shot and things like that. So that's why you see Atletico doing well against these teams. So you can see a pattern there. Well, however, I think what's said done is done. I think it's been a while. Madrid's played a game. They've done the almost 1 day travel to and fro Almaty in Kazakhstan. They've got a good result in the Champions League. The attack is doing well. Defensively, I think they'll also realize that they need to start working a bit more like a unit and less individually. And I think
Yeah.
we should be good going ahead.
Yeah. And
I
and
don't see us
logically, if
making
you
the same mistake again.
yeah, okay, makes sense. But Villarreal, if you look at them like logically and statistically, now looking at their goals conceded, they've only conceded 5 times in the leagues this season, and losing a
Mm-hmm.
player up front like Soloth does something to you. Like
Mm.
it devoids you of say 25 goals a season.
Yeah.
That's minimum for a player like Soloth. So what psychological effect that does, have on a team like Villarreal, where they know they have to tidy things up at the back to to almost cover up for the goals that they're going to go and score on the other side.
Well, I think in to his replacement, they've got this Georgian striker, Georges
Yeah,
Mikautazade or something like that.
the one with the
Apologies.
funny name, yes.
It's all Georgians. He was at Lyon. He was Lyon's striker. He
Mm-hmm.
did get 20-25 odd goals in that 2024-25 season. Before that, he was in Metz, if I'm not wrong, in France, in Liga. So they have a striker who kind of fits the bill for a Villarreal kind of a team, and he's not. And he's also pretty young right now. So I think
But
with
he's also not gotten started off in the best of, like, they've only
started off
scored
in the
seven
best of
times in their
form,
past 5 games. So
yeah. So well, it does take a striker a lot of time to settle into
yeah,
La
but
Liga.
we're talking about
I've
now,
felt that.
right?
Uh,
That's true.
well, you don't replace a player like Sorloth. See, when Ronaldo left Real Madrid, we
Yeah, we
did
got
get
Mariano.
Eden Hazard. We got Lord Mariano. That's a separate conversation. But I think just that very season, we did not try to replace him. We got Vini and Rodrigo in our ranks. Benzema got the forerunner
Mm-hmm.
position. So you don't replace someone who's giving you 25, 30 goals. The more you try to replace them, the
Yeah,
worse you're going to do on the field. I think you need to adapt well to the players that you have, which I think Real Madrid did very well. Okay, we did have a horrible season. We finished third in the league.
yeah.
And we were knocked out of the Champions League, which was bound to happen. But if you
The
see
season
that,
after that,
the
defensively,
season after that,
1920 with Zidane.
we were where Zidane said 7 matches, 7 finals during the COVID year. So you don't replace players who give you 25, 30 goals. According to me, you adapt your playing style to the
Right.
best lot that you have currently.
No, yeah, very
And I
true.
think Nicolas Pepe is doing well. That Buchanan, the Canadian guy, is doing well. So they're kind of building their attack on their wingers, and I'm sure this Georgian striker is gonna get into
Yeah.
the act. He's tall, he's strong. I mean, no reason why he will not score goals coming forward. So I think Villarreal have adapted their playing style a bit differently once Orlov left.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. I'm going to just get into a few of the comments. Almost slipped out of my mind, but we're gonna have to do that. So the usual suspects: Ashik, Suned. Ashik says we're dead. Suned says big up Sahel in the panel. Thank you, Suned. I appreciate you tuning in. Ashik says we're now officially a flat track play, but it's still a work in progress. Let's not be too harsh. W was a wake up call, and it was needed. Absolutely. I mean, just echoing what was
Yeah, I
being
mean,
said.
I'd rather have that now, so early in the season, than
Of
have
course,
it
yes.
during the legs where we are vying for every trophy. So I'd rather have that now.
Yeah. And then he followed up with saying we lost the derby 3-0, got humiliated in the 23-24 season as well, but went on to win the Liga and the Champions League.
Yep.
Suned says Villarreal were very unlucky to lose to Atleti. They're very good. I couldn't agree more. Can't underestimate Marcelino.
They
He's
did
tried and
get a
tested.
couple of red cards, if I'm not wrong,
Yeah, I think so.
against Atleti. Yeah.
Ashik says we are winning Saturday. Villarreal may wear yellow, but their shorts will be brown. Marcelino and Marcelo, he is toast. We will win convincingly with a lot of items to improve upon. I mean, I wish I was as optimistic as you, Ashik, in life and in football. Sorry, Ashik. I hope I did. I mean, Suned basically saying the same thing.
Marcelino's coached Villarreal before from 2013 to 16, so he
Yeah,
knows
and
the club very well.
Valencia as well, if I'm not wrong.
Valencia, he was coach of
So,
Marseille, he's coach Athletic
yeah,
Bilbao, so he's a tried and tested La Liga coach.
we are nowhere near good enough. At Suned, do not worry. Villarreal will not drop more than 3 points this Saturday. Okay, there's a bit of a war going on between Ashik and Suned, as is always the case.
Okay, let's
Friendly
wrap
banter.
up then. Don't have more points to
Yeah, just
cover.
after this, I'm just gonna look at the expected lineups and then predictions. The murmurs coming out, especially with regards to Fedes and Happiness playing this particular role, is very telling. Yes, I was going to touch up on that, Kanish. The
Okay.
reports, I'm
Yes,
sure
important.
you'll have read that about his form and his
Definitely.
position
And
that he's playing in. He's playing in a much deeper role that where he's not, as box to box as he'd like, maybe.
look, it's Fede Valverde we are talking about. He's been one of our best players in the past 4 or 5 seasons.
Yeah.
I personally feel he has done nothing wrong to, even warrant such a kind of a discussion, let alone news reports and things like that. Him being out of order and then the club having to eventually clarify that he was not misbehaving or he was not showing attitude. I mean, come on, dude. He is a future Real Madrid captain. So you do not. I just feel it's pretty disrespectful. It's a matter of time. He's a world class player. He's gonna find form in no time, and I have full trust in Fede Valverde that when push comes to shove, when the season requires, moments of brilliance, it's always been Fede Valverde who's stepped up and who's performed. So I don't feel it's even fair for us to be discussing this. I think just the
Yeah.
media has made a mountain out of a molehill of this entire situation. I mean,
And the media wouldn't they? Like they just need something to
yeah,
write a story on.
because Fede Valverde is one of the players who does not make noise. He'll do his job. He'll score worldies, bangers. He'll
Yeah.
drive a team's
You drop an 8 out
midfield,
of 10
and
every weekend, and
absolutely he's one of those underrated, always performing players. So the moment you get a little ammunition to fire at him, you will fire at him. However, I personally don't feel there is any concern with his form. He's going to find it right back.
yeah.
He's always done that. Every player goes through this. It's just the start of the season. Uh, it's okay. I mean, just let the poor man be. Let him just focus on his game. And I let me predict he's going to score this weekend.
Okay. There we have it,
Just,
folks. Kanishk's
just to put that out in the
prediction.
universe. My predictions
Okay.
so far since I've joined you guys, few of my predictions have been right. So I hope this one is also right, and let's hope he scores this weekend.
All right, and Ashik then goes on to say, at Sunil, we are definitely far from a finished product, but I would rather have something built over time and than do up a patch-up job with
I
which
mean,
we have done
what
in
were you
recent
expecting?
times.
Xabi Alonso is not going to lose a game like he did at Bayer Leverkusen. It doesn't work like that at Real Madrid. It's not
No,
the
of course, yeah,
Bundesliga. With all due
yeah.
respect to Bundesliga, I
No, I
mean, come
couldn't
on.
agree more. And of course,
Yeah.
Sunil has his own way of looking at things. Patch-up jobs won us 2 doubles in the past 3 years. Please be grateful. I would rather us be patch-up champions, hold our own, opposed to chasing perfection for years. Um, Just trust the process in it. Patch up champions. Okay. Then they have their own back and forth going on in the comments.
I mean, it's kind of disrespectful that you call us patch up champions. I mean, it's not easy to win a double in 2 years with with a 1 year gap. I mean, not everything is the magic of the Bernabeu. So I think,
Mm,
we do need to give players a bit more credit than we do just because, we were not the Real Madrid of 2016 or the Real Madrid of 2012, 2011.
yeah.
It's fine, man. I mean, uh, the players have worked really hard, I think, to give us these two Champions League number 14 and 15 in the past 4 years. I think I personally find it a bit disrespectful to term it as patch-up champions. Uh, we've had bigger issues than Gareth Bale not in form, Eden Hazard not in form. We've had defensive issues in the past. The season we had around
Injuries.
64,
60
64.
injuries.
I was just 64 injuries that season. I think football is a team game. I think we were a bit too reliant on Cristiano Ronaldo when he was there to get it done.
Hmm.
But I think
Especially in the
after
big
that,
games.
the way, I mean, if you compare us with Manchester United, I feel which is a very fair comparison because Madrid and United, not now, I'm talking about say 10
The
years back,
United of the past, yes.
the two teams were at par with each other. And look at where they are after their star players have left. Look at how we are. We can still brag about 15 Champions Leagues, two more than honestly what a lot of people think we deserve, but we've still won it. So I don't think uh, there's any reason to be called patch-up champions. You win the league, you have to perform well across 38 matches to win the league,
Yeah. And there
and
you have it, Ashik.
no one is going to
Sinet
give it
says
to you on a
Villarreal
platter.
always finds hidden gems in the transfer market. Who do they have that will give the defense a difficult time? Nicolas Pepe. All right. Yeah, I think I've covered most of the comments. Big up
Yeah.
random guy as well for tuning in. Rajat X, um, Sinet and Ashik. Obviously, I've mentioned them. And Kanishk, if you would just now, give out your expected Real Madrid lineup.
Is there any point to do that? Because
Uh, you can
Xavi is
skip the
throwing
defense.
curveballs at us.
You can
Yeah,
skip the defense for
in
now.
defense, I still feel he's going to go with Carreras, Huijsen, Militao, and as you said, Asensio on right back.
Yeah.
I think Valverde, Chouameni, or Camavinga, and Arda Güler there. And I personally want to see Rodrigo, Mbappe, and Mascherano start. That's my 11 with Courtois in goal, of course.
Fair enough. I think I would look at it a bit differently. Maybe with obviously you mentioned Kamavinga as a slash, but with he had a solid game in the
Yeah,
Champions League. I would give him a good run of games because he isn't someone who's had particularly good minutes this season,
yeah.
especially with Chouameni coming back in form.
So then,
Uh,
do you mean to say you should bench Chouameni?
no, I would if I would actually bench Valverde if the reports coming out about his unhappiness
Ah,
over
come
his
on.
role
I'm
aren't
not
right.
benching Valverde.
Not benching, you would rest him. Obviously, I
Yeah,
think he did. I don't think he started the game in the Champions League as well. So I would still start Valverde because I think
yeah,
yes, it was Ceballos who started. So uh, I would play
yeah.
Valverde. I would bench Arda, I think, for this game.
Yeah, I think
Um,
Arda needs some rest because he's I think going to play during the international break as well. So
yeah,
why
that
not?
is also true, and much of Turkey's hopes lie on his shoulders. So
It's going to
you
be a
need to
very
protect a
crucial
player like that
international
as
break.
well. Uh,
Absolutely.
no, that is true. Yes, Xabi has given him a good run of games, and when you give him a good run of games with minutes in each
Yeah,
game,
he's been a solid 8 on 10, I feel,
yeah,
so far in the season.
and he's also been more and more comfortable in his position.
Yeah, yep,
Jude
yep.
is someone who I think will have to, Xabi will have to assess if he's
Yeah.
ready, if he's
I don't think
100%.
he's 100% yet because I
Yeah,
think he
going by his
also
last two games,
came from his injury
mm,
a bit earlier than expected. So I don't think he's that 100% fully fit player right now like Camavinga. So I think maybe a couple of more games, but I think after the international break,
I couldn't
he
agree
should
more.
be
Yeah,
a
but it's always
regular
nice
starter.
to have someone like Jude on the bench to give you a good burst in the last 10,
Absolutely,
15
yeah,
minutes, if
yeah,
you
yeah,
really
yeah.
need him. And then the
And the
front
last thing
three.
we need right now is an injury in midfield. I mean, so
Oh yeah, yeah,
the best way to do that is to give everyone a decent share of minutes.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mbappe, Mastantuono. I would also go for Rodrigo,
Rodrigo
but I
for
don't
me.
think that's
Yeah,
happening. because Rodrigo had a brilliant game off the bench. I know he didn't score,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
you know, he had
Yeah.
that brilliant assist, and then he even set up Mbappe's third goal.
Fantastic when given a
So
chance this season. So let's see.
yeah,
So
I
what's the
think
prediction?
my prediction for this, it's a home game. I'd say 3-1. I don't think we're keeping a clean sheet.
Yeah,
No,
I'm
actually, I
I'm
would
going
say
for a
2-1. I would say
okay.
2-1. Revise that
I'm
because
I'm
Villarreal
going
have a
for
good
a
defense.
4-1 Real Madrid.
Okay, that's bold. But I think you have a lot of trust in Mbappe's goal scoring abilities. I do
Yeah,
too, but
just a
yeah, I
different.
think he's
No,
going to be
not
taken off
just
early.
Mbappe. Not just Mbappe. I feel Mastantuono is there, Rodrigo is there,
Yeah.
Guler in attack is different gravy this season. Vinny coming off the
Hmm.
bench. Maybe Gonzalo Garcia getting some minutes in this game.
I would really hope for Gonzalo Garcia to get
I
minutes
honestly thought
because
he's going to start the Gonzalo against Almaty and give Mbappe a rest, but
do you know what? If Mbappe wasn't on a hat trick, he would have taken off Mbappe earlier. Uh,
yeah,
but you
I
had to
think he
then.
missed that. He missed that sitter in front of goal where he squared it. I
Ah,
think that was a
yes,
moment he should have scored it and just sat on the bench and enjoyed a good game and let
yes.
Gonzalo have some minutes. Yeah.
No, yeah. So
Okay
I'm going
then.
for a 2-1. Kanish going for a 4-1 with Valverde scoring, as he mentioned earlier.
Valverde scoring this weekend.
Siddharth Mishra. Yeah, Sid's also in the comments saying Kanishk is right about how Fede will be back soon. And Ashik is going berserk, saying bench Vinny. I mean, there's only so much we can do to create pressure
I
here, coach.
mean, yeah,
I'm a DM Shabi Alonso ask him to. It's not.
yeah. I mean, not if not bench Vinny, just maybe give Rodrigo see it from that perspective. Start Rodrigo, reward his hard work, and maybe let Vinny
Yeah,
have an impact from the bench till he's not, in his absolute Vinny-esque form, which he has
yeah.
for like 10, 15 games every season. So let him have that.
Yeah, I think a lot of Real Madrid fans right now will echo the same sentiment. And with
Absolutely.
that, we will start wrapping up. Thank you to our sponsors again, Talksport and Fanatics. If you guys want to check them out, the link is in the description. Everything to do with Let's Be Real is on Talksport Fan Network. And we will see you guys with a post match for Villarreal, hopefully with Sunaid also on the panel. So I don't have to host. But I'm quite enjoying doing this hosting thing. So hopefully I get better with it, and hopefully Kanishk will also be on soon. Any final thoughts, Kanishk?
Just Hala Madrid.
Madrid, guys. We will see you very soon. Okay, that's that. That was about 45 minutes. Not bad.